This episode is about the stone villages of the English hills, where the houses came out of the ground nearby. The pace is calm and clear. Listen for one question: why did the roofs change when the walls did not? Here we go. The houses are not as old as they look. Many go back 300 or 400 years. The stone under them is far older. In one of these villages, the cottage walls, the roofs, and the low walls between the fields all came out of the same ground, one soft stone, golden as honey in the sun. At first, none of that was chosen. The color was set by the rock lying quietly under the grass. So to understand these villages, you start with the ground, not the houses. Under these hills lies a thick band of limestone running diagonally across England. Where the land rises, the rock comes close to the surface, pale, layered stone stacked like the pages of a book. Most villages had their own small quarry, a place where stone is cut out of the ground. These were shallow pits at a field edge, nothing like a modern industrial site. The stone was rough, but it was close at hand, near enough to reach easily. How far did the stone travel? Researchers in one English county compared the houses in about 140 villages with the rock beneath them. Ordinary homes were rarely built with stone from more than about 10 kilometers away. Builders used what lay close at hand, even when better stone lay further off, because moving stone was expensive. Stone is heavy, and a loaded cart, a simple wooden farm wagon, moves slowly. Over the centuries, feet, hooves, and cartwheels wore the lanes deep into the earth. Time for a language spotlight. A quarry is a place where stone is cut out of the ground. The village had its own small quarry. A cart is a simple wooden wagon. The cart was loaded with stone. And if something is close at hand, it is near enough to reach easily. They built with the stone that was close at hand. A quarry, a cart, close at hand. Building from the nearest pit explains something strange. The color changes from village to village. A stone's color depends on how much iron it holds, and that changes from layer to layer as well as from place to place. In one quarry, the lower beds give warm golden stone and the beds directly above a pail, almost white one, two colors out of the same hole. A few miles away stand villages of dark orange-brown ironstone, which looks bluish-green when freshly cut. Where the ground offered clay instead of usable stone, people built in brick and wood. The color of a village is a map of the ground beneath it. Walls were only half the problem. The roof was limestone too, but turning rock into a roof tile takes a trick, and the trick was winter. Fresh from the ground, the stone is full of water. In late autumn, workers left the rough pieces outside and waited for frost. As the water inside froze, it pushed the layers apart, and the stone could then be split by hand into thin slabs. A slab is a flat, thin piece of stone. If the stone dried out, it lost its power to split, so it was kept wet until the cold came. Not every slab was made this way, but the thinner, more regular ones were made by the frost itself. A finished slab was about 15 millimeters thick, the thickness of a finger. Each was given a small hole, and through it went a peg, a short pin of oak wood. The slab hung on its peg from the roof frame. The stone broke into many sizes, so roofers laid the largest slabs along the bottom edge and the smallest near the top. That is why these roofs look graded. Such a roof is heavy, around a ton for every 10 square meters, one reason the walls below had to be thick. Here is the curious part. Roofing slabs seem to have traveled further than walling stone. In that county, they turn up in villages twice as far out. The likely reason is weight. A roof's slabs weigh far less than the stone for its walls. Around 1850, the old limit disappeared. Railways could carry stone, brick, and slate cheaply to almost any part of the country. The villages did not refuse what the railways brought. Thin, light, cheap slate from Wales split into even tiles, and on many houses the stone roof gave way to it. When one thing gives way to another, it is replaced by it. So here is the real question. The roofs gave way. Why did the walls stay stone? Start with the simplest reason. A roof wears out. When something wears out, it is damaged slowly by use until it has to be replaced. Rain, frost, and wind work on a roof for a century. Pegs break, slabs slip, and sooner or later the whole roof must be taken off and laid again. A stone wall does not wear out that way. It stands, and standing is all it has to do. So the roof was the part that came up for decision over and over, and each time the cheapest material answered. Money is part of the answer too, only part. These villages were rebuilt in one great wave, roughly 400 years ago, when the district had money. A wool merchant's house over 600 years old still faces the street in one small town, near a covered market hall from the 1620s. Then the money ran short. When something runs short, there is no longer enough of it. In the 1870s, farming across the whole country slid into a long depression. Wheat prices fell by about half, rents by about a third, and people left for the towns. That was not a local misfortune. Farm incomes fell across the country, though not evenly. One more spotlight. A slab is a flat, thin piece of stone. The slabs were split by hand. A peg is a short wooden pin, each slab hung on an oak peg. And when something wears out, it is damaged by use until it must be replaced. A roof wears out, a wall does not. A slab, a peg, wear out. Survival was not automatic or the same everywhere. Not every valley went quiet. On one side of the hills, cloth mill valleys industrialized and rebuilt in the local stone as they did. Some of what survived had to be rescued. In 1942, there was a plan to take that old market hall apart and sell it overseas, and a local trust bought it instead. Earlier, from the 1890s, artists and craftsmen had moved into the district and repaired old cottages using the same golden stone. What visitors photograph today was partly made, as well as left behind. The story has not ended. Recently, the frost-split slabs ran short, and repairing an old roof became a problem. A roof that has mostly given way to slate still needs the old kind for the rest. Further north, where a close relative of this stone is worked, engineers learned to copy winter. Fresh, wet stone is frozen artificially, and slabs that once took about 3 years can be made in a few weeks. In these hills, stone is still quarried, still split by hand, still sorted by size, and still hung on oak pegs. One idea to carry away. These villages look like a single design, but only one part of them was ever open to change. The roof came up for decision over and over, the walls never did. So the roof carries the date of the world outside, what the roads could carry, and what was cheap the year the old one wore out. The walls carry only the ground they stand on. The rest is still whatever lay close at hand, and nothing ever asked it to give way. 3 questions to check your listening. 1. Why were ordinary houses built with stone from less than about 10 kilometers away? 2. Why might roofing slabs have traveled further than walling stone? 3. Why did the roofs change when the walls did not? If any part felt fast, play it again and watch the roofs. Once you have seen one graded stone roof, big slabs at the bottom, small ones at the top, you will find you can read it. Thanks for listening.